Hello, my name is Kim, and for this timeless reading, I will be channeling messages, advice, and guidance on career, work, learning, studies, habits, and routines. Now, please keep in mind that throughout the reading, I will be focusing and prioritizing channeling messages, advice, and or guidance instead of predictions. So if you are interested in solely receiving predictions, then this reading might not be what you are looking for. Okay, but with that being said, let us now take a closer look at the options. So there are 3 different groups to choose from. Option 1 is the eagle. Option 2 is the hawk. Option 3 is the badger. Please take a moment to meditate on the options, and whichever animal you are drawn to the most, then that will be the group and a reading that has the messages you are meant to hear at this moment. And once you have selected, head on over to either the description box or the pinned comment in the comment section down below to find the timestamp that will allow for you to skip ahead to your selected group. Okay, and if you are ready, then let us get started. Let's go. Hello, group 1. I feel you are being encouraged to write. Anytime you feel irritable, angry, write down your frustrations. Write to vent. Write to release. Write until you get to the bottom of what is truly bothering you. Because at this moment, your inner being, your frustrations, are looking for an outlet to voice itself. It doesn't need a platform. It needs an outlet. For those of you who are journalists, writers, keep on writing. You were drawn to this profession for a reason. There is something you are meant to share with the world. But if right now you feel you cannot write, then stop writing for others and take a moment to write for you, write to you. And the advice and or guidance for all for the next couple of days is understand your words first before you give them away. Okay, but let us now take a look at the cards. So the first card I will draw out will offer a message about your career, profession, line of work. And we have bound. The second card will offer messages about your studies, education, as well as your curiosity. Your mental stimulation. And we have healer. And the last card will offer a message about your routines, habits, tendencies, and we have transformation. Okay, and now I will draw out a clarifier for each. To clarify the bound card, is the Hierophant. And to clarify the healer is the Three of Swords. And to clarify the transformation card is the Seven of Swords. Okay. So when it comes to your career, your profession, your line of work, you're feeling bound by your commitments, by your responsibilities. You may be sticking with the job, with the role, with the profession, not out of passion, out of joy for it, but instead out of responsibility, obligation, duty, could even be tradition. Some of you could be sticking with a career you might not be very happy with out of need. There might be a fear of leaving a job or choosing a different career path for what others might say, how your family might respond, how a society or a community will regard or perceive you. Some of you might feel like there's no other way, that you do not have an option. But what you're being let known is that you have the key. See here, hanging on this branch is a set of keys. Your hands are not truly tied down, although that's how you might feel like in the inside. Although tradition, custom, might be expecting something from you, that does not mean that you are tied down to this expectation. You can break free from it. You are allowed to. You have the key. Some of you might fear taking a risk, risking quitting an unfulfilling job because of all the unknown variables, the unknown future. You're playing it safe to keep yourself safe. Yet through this logic, something is being ignored. The fact that you feel tied down, restricted, oppressed, because what you truly want and part of what you truly need is being ignored, which is something that fulfills you, stimulates you. There is a bit of sacrifice and conformity going on here. I'm hearing if I want to play it safe, then I have to sacrifice my voice, my creative expression, my ideas, my freedom, my passions. If I want to play it safe, then I have to conform. I sense these keys are a symbol of your dreams, your passions, and are that which you want, that which you desire, that which you wish to obtain and or experience. And you have recently or in the past hung up these keys, set them aside, and resigned yourself to not using them. But what you're being let known right now is the keys are still there. They're still very much in your reach. You can, if you want to, if you choose to, reach out for them and grab them and use them. It might require for you to take a risk, to face the unknown, and or face a fear of being perceived, a fear of the unknown, a fear of uncertainty. Yet it is something that you are capable of doing. You don't need to hold back when it comes to your career and your profession. So if you're feeling a little stuck, if you're feeling dry, uninspired, unfulfilled, ask yourself if it may be because you are currently working a job that you care nothing about. If you are pursuing a dream that is not even yours. If you are working day in and day out to meet somebody else's expectation. Because if the answer is yes, then that could be a reason for why you are feeling this way. And if you are pursuing something that you are passionate about, have you been holding yourself back in your profession? Have you been playing it safe? Have you been sticking to the norms, to the traditions? Not simply out of respect, but out of fear of standing out, of being judged, of being perceived? And has this holding back been hindering you? Has it made it difficult for you to write, work, create, produce, express yourself? If so, it's time to reevaluate. It's time to consider whether you are sacrificing more by playing it safe than by risking it. Because very soon, you will need to break free. Very soon, you will need to reach out for these keys. Because holding back won't be an option anymore. It won't feel like an option. It will feel like a prison. Therefore, if you feel stuck at work, stuck in your career, stuck in a line of work that you do not like, then it is because change is needed. The number 5 indicates change. It is a sign that in a way you've been holding back. So to see forward movement, to feel free once more, breaking free is what will be needed. For some, that will be doing the unconventional, pursuing your dreams instead of the dreams of another, taking a leap of faith, not worrying about what others will say. The Hierophant is very proper, follows the norms, the rules, very traditional. So is it tradition that has been holding you back? Is it societal norms, conformity? Is it your own worries, your fears of what others will say, how they might respond and or react, that has kept you from fully expressing yourself in a line of work, in your profession, in your career? Because I sense you guys need something that is not very restrictive, that allows for you to speak openly, speak honestly, that allows you the freedom to express yourself, to create, to change with the times, or to simply evolve at your pace. But right now, you could simply be feeling tied down to a line of work or a job because of your circumstance, right? Your financial situation might be making it very difficult for you to explore jobs, or you could be under a contract. And if that is the case, you are being let know that this is temporary, because very soon you will find yourself again reaching out for these keys. I feel like this Hierophant is only biding their time, because they know that at one point they will be reaching out for these keys, for their freedom, for their dreams, for that which they want, right? So you won't be bound to this for much longer. So when you are actually free, or you do have an opportunity to free yourself, then it will be up to you to take that step by choosing something different, right? By quitting that job, or not renewing that contract that's been tying you down for who knows how long, or by pursuing your dream, taking a leap of faith, or taking a new approach, being more expressive, facing your fears. Because for you guys, playing it small, it doesn't work. It might work for a short while, but it doesn't work for the long run. You are a free spirit. You are a creative soul. It is up to you what you choose to do. But if it is the case that you are in a soul-sucking job, or you are currently feeling down and under because you are playing it safe when it comes to your career, your profession, then that goes to show you how this is something that matters. It is impactful. It can be overlooked for a little while, but not for the long run, because you will end up feeling it. You are meant to be doing something that fulfills you, that excites you, and that allows for you to explore, not to conform. Now, when it comes to your academics, studies, your curiosity, we have the Healer and the Three of Swords. It is okay for you to explore. I feel that there could be some fear around experimenting, exploring. I'm not sure whether you were told at one point that to be curious, adventurous was wrong, because I am sensing hesitation around that. The Three of Hearts can speak of heartbreak as well as betrayal and disappointment. And so it seems like there is some hesitation around getting curious and or learning. Some of you might actually struggle to learn something new, or when you are starting to learn something, you might struggle with continuing your studies. And if so, this fear around learning, around completing something that you are learning, could have come after a disappointment, right? After something not working out. It could have also come after you experienced rejection or criticism, judgment. The word humiliation is also coming through. I am getting a bit of self-sabotaging going on, where someone ends something before it can actually come to a proper ending, because they fear the end results. They fear the outcomes, right? Instead of finishing this race, I'm going to stop at midway, because I don't really want to know in what place I will end the race. I don't want to know. I don't want to be disappointed. And if any of this is resonating with you, it's all coming from a space of pain and hurt, possibly fear. And this is what you are healing, or you're being called to heal, to address. But I feel like you are healing this because we do have the snake shedding its skin, which can speak of rebirth and transformation. So if there is a fear of failure, if there is a fear of disappointing, of being a disappointment, of experiencing disappointment, you are addressing those fears, and you're healing the wound that is attached to that fear, or that gave way to that fear. You are creating a safe space for yourself by reminding and reassuring yourself that it's okay to get curious, to experiment, to explore, and to make mistakes. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not be first place. It's okay if people do not resonate with you or what it is that you're sharing all of the time. And you're healing yourself by also acknowledging that to experience disappointment doesn't indicate that you have failed, because you can get back up from this, right? That's what the snake is all about, rebirth, growth. So I do see you trying again. I do see you experimenting and exploring more. And although there might be a bit of hesitation and wariness from time to time, you're pushing past it by reminding and reassuring yourself that, hey, it's okay if you get nervous. It's okay if you have worries. It's okay if you care. But caring doesn't mean that you have to hold back, that you have to dim your light or play it extremely safe all the time. You can care whilst you charge forward, while you break through. And as you grow and face your fears, you connect more and more with your inner strength and find that you are courageous, and reassure your inner child that self-expression is not a crime, nor is being curious. and that having your own dreams and your own passions is not a wrongdoing. You're not a bad person for loving something that is independent from others. Nor is it a crime for you to care so deeply. You are not less professional, less astute, less mature for caring. You can open your heart. You can reconnect with your heart space. I think a lot of you are learning that it's okay to make mistakes, especially when you are learning something new. When you are practicing and are in training, you are definitely creating a safe space for you to grow and to learn, because it's kind of difficult to learn in a space that doesn't allow for you to learn. Because learning means you are acquiring knowledge and skills through experience, practice, and study. It doesn't mean that you already know the answers. Right? And as you are coming to understand something, there's bound to be questions. Questions are necessary to get a better understanding. Right? As you practice, there's going to be trial and error, which is necessary to get better and better at something. So if imperfection is not allowed, it's very, very difficult to get to that point of perfection. And so this is what you're doing. You're creating a safe space, or that's what you're being asked to do. To let yourself know that it's okay to grow and to learn and to evolve. You're doing just fine. When it comes to your habits, your tendencies, your routines, we do have the card transformation here. And in the illustration, we have this human butterfly in the midst of a transformation. So allow yourself to make adjustments. Remember, it's not a one-size-fits-all. So if you come across something online, like a routine, for example, that has worked for somebody else, and you implement it on yourself, and it just doesn't work how it worked for that other person, consider making adjustments, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. What might have worked for somebody else might not work for you, but that doesn't mean that nothing will. So it's okay to tweak things. But in order to tweak things, you must first need to comprehend what is it that you need? What is it that you require? And once you got the answer to those questions, you can start from there. And if you have been making adjustments, but you still haven't found that sweet spot, let's say, you're being let know to continue, because you're almost there. You almost have it. And if you are someone who often follows recommendations, like you try to apply to yourself what worked for someone else, consider, instead of looking outwards, look inwards first. Because you might be looking outwards in hopes that somebody already has the answer to your question, or already has what it is that you need, and then you can just slap it on to yourself, to your life, to your day-to-day. But I feel like what you're being let know is that this is a process that is going to take some time. It's not going to be an easy fix kind of situation, because you are a being of evolution, right? You are someone who is constantly growing, even if it might not be so apparent. So your habits, your tendencies, your routines needs to grow with you, right? Or will be something that will grow with you. And so for it to be something that grows with you, it needs to be organic and something that aligns with you. So instead of looking outwards, looking to somebody else who is completely different from you, look to yourself. Take a moment to observe you, your tendencies, to then build a routine that aligns with that works with that, especially works with the habits and tendencies that you want to keep and keep developing. And if you are seeking to let go of old habits, you can release old habits by starting new ones, right? You don't have to first release an old habit to then start a new habit. No, you can release an old habit as you are developing a new one. So as an example, let's say if you have the habit of waking up every morning and drinking a cup of coffee, and you want to change that, you want to start drinking tea in the morning now, then you replace the coffee with tea. And the more you do that, the more you become accustomed, or your body becomes accustomed to drinking tea, and the coffee is forgotten. Right? So remember, you can grow out of something and grow into something. And it's okay for you to make adjustments and make changes as you go. Things don't always have to look the same. And I don't think they're expected to always look the same. You know, nature doesn't always look the same, and we don't expect for it to always look the same because it is a living, breathing entity. And so this will be a heads up for you guys that your schedule is about to change, right? Or that it is in the midst of transforming. And I know this could be quite cumbersome, especially if you're getting used to a routine schedule, because then things change and you have to get used to a new routine, a new schedule. But I guess what you're being let know is that if you become more open and receptive to this idea that change is an inevitable thing, then going along with these changes might be easier to do. Yeah, but I definitely feel like your schedule, your routines, they are in the midst of transforming, of changing. This could even be a curriculum for some. And there is something here about managing your time. There's something here about working with yourself instead of against yourself. So creating a schedule, or having a schedule that maybe gives you the time that you need to do what it is that you need to get done, instead of creating a schedule that makes it almost impossible for you to attend to all that you need to attend to, or makes it almost impossible for you to have the time that you need to do something the way that you would want to do it, or for you to maybe catch a break in between different tasks, obligations, classes, right? So be considerate of yourself and your needs, and the fact that you are, in the midst of growing, in the midst of evolving, you are in the midst of some kind of transformation. Perhaps this makes me think of like when a teen is going through puberty and because they're going through this growth spurt, they need more time to sleep. It's like being considerate of the body is going through all of these changes and it needs a little bit more time to rest. Right? So I wonder if you are going through something major in your life, or your body is going through some changes, or maybe you are going through some kind of recovery. And if that is the case, then you're being asked to be mindful of that. Don't push yourself too much. Don't steal from yourself is how it's coming through. There's no need to steal from yourself. Steal your own energy, steal your own time, when you can give to yourself instead. Or just not steal, not take away from you. But now I want to draw out a oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance for you guys. So we have ego with reverence. And the message: in his swiftness, flight, and courage, eagle sets the example of rising above. With his keen sight, he sees both the prevailing patterns of the ground below and the majestic views before him. Soaring in silence, he finds his orientation in the distance. Equipped with a solemn reverence for pledges, he explores higher truths, greater powers, and commitment to one's word. Leading with purpose, Eagle invites us to consider the importance of respect, reciprocity, and community. With freedom comes responsibility. Wow, interesting, because this message reminds me of the Bound card and the Hierophant. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of you feel this great responsibility, or you feel tied down by a commitment. You are someone of great integrity. You value responsibility. You value keeping your word. keeping to your promises. And it is these values that might end up with you feeling conflicted at times when you are sticking with something that you might not like or might be draining you because you made a promise, you signed a contract. There is a bit of a conflicting energy that I'm picking up here. And so if it is the case that you feel bound to something that you are not very passionate about, or that feels or is quite restrictive, again, you're being let know that very soon you will be released of this commitment, or you will have an opportunity to free yourself of this in a way that it doesn't conflict with your values or your integrity. But I think the ego here is also reminding you of the power of choice, right? Because if it is your choice to stay somewhere out of commitment, out of responsibility, because that is what you value and you prioritize most of all, then you are freely choosing. You are practicing your freedom of choice, right? But if you're staying with something that is draining you, that is making you feel small, or playing it small to the point of it being very suffocating for you, then it's time to consider whether you are truly upholding your values by staying somewhere that is unhealthy for you, or if you are simply doing damage to yourself. And this last message really stood out to me. Ego invites us to consider the importance of respect, reciprocity, and community. With freedom comes responsibility, because it's reminding me of the message that came through at the beginning before I drew out the cards, which was understand the meaning behind your words before you send them out, something along those lines. So with bound and the Hierophant, this is making me think of understanding limits and boundaries, as well as what it means to be accountable, what it means to be responsible of your own actions, your decisions, and your words. Because some of you are learning that although you are responsible for what you bring to the table, you are not always responsible for how others react or choose to respond to it. I think this is also about your point of view and your perception. If you get the impulse to sing and dance while someone is giving a presentation they worked very hard for, and you chose not to interrupt their presentation by appeasing your urge to dance and sing, do you perceive that as a suppression of your self-expression, or as an act of consideration on your part? Right, so there's something here about how you look at things, how you phrase them. But we have Shark with resolve and the message: at no time in Shark's life does he consider weakness an impossibility. He is very aware that this condition is an inescapable facet of life. Unwilling to be a victim of his own ignorance, Shark swims in the certain and uncertain realities of the vast ocean. In his resolve, we learn about acceptance, actuality, and truth. There is nothing more harsh in life than being sideswept unexpectedly. Shark reminds us of this inevitability. With awareness and resolve, we will endure. Yeah, so Shark is reminding me of the Healer and the Three of Swords. Having the resolve to move forward, even knowing that there will be trial and error, because that is part of life. Sheltering ourselves from that by playing it small, or keeping ourselves from doing that which we love, it's not going to prevent that. And so instead of trying to keep the inevitable from happening, why not embrace it? Why not walk into the unknown with open eyes instead? There's a phrase that I often hear, which is, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, we don't worry about it, right? So some of you could be adopting that kind of mindset, because there will be many bridges that you will come across that you will need to cross over. in order to continue on with your journey. Right? So what I see for you guys is a resolve to continue moving forward in the face of adversity, and moving forward with the awareness that there will be a lot of unexpected surprises. Right? So with both the Eagle and the Shark, I see you having a higher perspective on things, you gaining more clarity, as well as more fight, right? Like more vigor, more determination. And you're no longer fearing soaring higher or diving deeper. You're exploring new heights and new depths, and are challenging yourself to do so, and getting more comfortable with that. The higher you fly, the deeper you swim or dive. Okay, but eagles, sharks, snakes, butterflies may be of significance, as well as the number 3, 5, and 7. These could be life path numbers, birth month numbers, or numbers that you might be seeing often. Okay, but these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought you some guidance or clarity. If you enjoyed this reading, consider leaving a like or a comment. If you are new to this channel and you would like to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then subscribe and hit the notification bell button. But before I sign off, I want to thank my spirit team and your guides for assisting me with your reading. Thank you. And I am wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye-bye. And getting more comfortable with that. The higher you fly, the deeper you swim or dive. Okay, but eagles, sharks, snakes, butterflies may be of significance, as well as the number 3, 5, and 7. These could be life path numbers, birth month numbers, or numbers that you might be seeing often. Okay, but these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought you some guidance or clarity. If you enjoyed this reading, consider leaving a like or a comment. If you are new to this channel and you would like to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then subscribe and hit the notification bell button. But before I sign off, I want to thank my spirit team and your guides for assisting me with your reading. Thank you. And I am wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye-bye. Hello, if you were drawn to group 2, bienvenidos to your reading. So the message starting anew and the word work came to mind when meditating on the energy of this group. So it seems that very soon you are going to start anew, start afresh in your line of work, your profession, or a career path. That is, if you are not already doing so. Because I do see you eager to start, eager to get going, eager to work or get hands-on. That's another thing that I was picking up on. It seems like very soon you are going to get hands-on with something. I see you working with your hands, creating something with your hands. So you will be invested in a project that will require for you to get hands-on with it. And this project could be a personal one, like a passion project. It could be a DIY project as well. But this project could be one of the many you will be working on because of your line of work, profession, or studies. Because I see someone being very much involved in the development of, again, a project or some kind of endeavor. But I'm picking up on a lot of excitement. So if you have been feeling a bit dispassionate, or you haven't been feeling as emotionally invested in your career, line of work, your endeavors, studies, or hobbies, things are changing, or this will be changing for you soon, because you will be experiencing or feeling that passion again, or for the first time. Yeah, and it will be after the introduction of this new project, or maybe of an idea that will inspire you to take on something new or to start anew. Okay, but the first card that I will be drawing out will give us information about career, work, profession. The word renewing is coming to mind. So some of you could be renewing a contract, but others of you could be going back to work, re-entering the work field after a period of not working. And you could be feeling very excited about that. But we have wildness. And now I'm going to draw out an oracle card to gain information about studies, academia, learning. And we have home. The word real estate just came to mind. So some of you could be learning about real estate, but now I'm going to be drawing out a card to look into habits, routines, tendencies. Ooh. And we have the Magician in the reversal. And now I'm going to draw out a clarifier for each. Clarifier for wildness. 2 cards fell out together, and we have the King of Swords and the 9 of Swords. And now to clarify the home card. We have the 5 of Pentacles. And to clarify the Magician, please. 2 cards flipped over at the same time, and it is the Moon and the 2 of Wands. So I'm picking up on a lot of uncertainty or unknowns. There could be a lack of clarity at this moment, especially in regards to work, career, studies, finances, or maybe even your life's direction. But let's start off with career, work, and profession. So the King of Swords is an air sign, which will be Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. I'm especially picking up on Libra with the wellness card, but I'm also picking up on Scorpio. So these zodiac signs could be of significance. They could also be important seasons for this area of life, but I am sensing a lot of confusion here. It's more like uncertainty or indecision. You could be at this moment going back and forth on a decision, or maybe you have recently made up your mind, but although you have, let's say, made up your mind or decided upon something, you still feel a bit uncertain or doubtful. You still feel somewhat worried about whether what you have decided upon is correct. Right? Is it the right thing to do? Am I doing the right thing? Those are the kind of questions that could be keeping you up at night or waking you up in the middle of the night. So if any of this is resonating with you, what you are being advised at this moment is to go with what your gut and your instincts are telling you. Yeah, because I see this divide between the mind and, let's say, your heart, or just your inner knowing, more like. And the wellness card is making me think of your desires. I keep wanting to say your innards. I don't know why, but it's making me think of your instincts and how your physical body responds to stimulus, how it responds to stress. So if something has been nagging at you, if something has been disturbing your peace, you're being recommended to pay attention to that, because the situation that I'm seeing here as an example is of someone not wanting to go to work. And it's more than that. It's not just that they don't want to go to work, it's that every fiber in their being is resisting going to work. They find themselves getting ill more and more often because of the stress that work or thinking about work gives them. And they decide to take that as a sign that this is their body, their subconscious, their psyche, their very being, letting them know, hey, it's time to look for a new job, or it's time to think of a new career path, because this ain't cutting it anymore. This isn't for us anymore. We don't feel safe here anymore. But then they begin doubting, because the mind starts thinking, well, is it really necessary to look for a new job? Or we shouldn't quit. We should just push through. Yeah, I know I don't like this job. I know that it's making me sick, but we need the money. Or looking for a new job is going to take some time, so might as well just remain in this job. It's like these kind of thoughts start creeping in and creating some kind of doubt, creating some kind of divide. So if this resonates with you, you're being let known and or advised to listen to your gut, to pay attention to what your body has been showing you via signs, via symptoms, right? And trust in your discernment. The King of Swords fell out in the upright. And this king is very discerning and very logical, very reasonable. They don't make a decision just because. They make a decision that is backed up by evidence and motive. And I keep getting messages about your physical body, right? Maybe this is about your wellness, your health. They're saying the signs are there. The evidence is there. Your body will let you know. So pay attention to that, because there lies your answer, there lies your confirmation, right? The mind might be saying a lot of things, but that's kind of the mind's role, because the mind is there to show us options, alternatives. But it's up to us to use our discernment to then decide, okay, well, thank you, brain, for providing me with all this information. But based on what I am personally experiencing and what I am observing and what I feel to be true, this is the decision that I'm making and sticking with. Right? So don't worry, mind or brain. We've got this. I've got this. It'll be all right. And you could be making a decision that is very difficult for you, because it might require for you to sacrifice something, and it is because of this that you might find yourself going back and forth. But I feel like you're being encouraged to trust yourself. You already know is the message that is coming through. Yeah, so whatever final decision you're coming to is one that you've came to after much consideration, deliberation, and also listening to your inner being, right? Taking into account various factors, but also taking into account your state of being, your inner knowing. And the wellness card is making me think of authenticity, rawness. So if you have been feeling restless, if you have been feeling a bit inhibited, consider whether it is because you are being restrained in your line of work, profession, career. Because I sense someone feeling caged in. So if it is the case that you have been feeling restless, or you have trouble falling asleep at night or staying asleep, or you're constantly worrying about work, or you don't feel all that present when you are working, it might be because you have outgrown this line of work or this profession, maybe a task or a responsibility, a role. Because what I'm picking up here is someone feeling caged in, right? The wolf here wants to run and wander, but they can't. And that is driving them bonkers. Not being able to be wild is driving the wolf bananas. And although it might not be so apparent at times, that is what is happening underneath. So consider whether or not you have outgrown your line of work, or maybe a project that you've been focusing on, or whether you've become bored with and underwhelmed by what you're doing, what you are focusing on when it comes to this area of life. The word that is coming to mind is suffocating. Like something has become or starting to feel or be suffocating. And this suffocation is kind of manifesting as stress, as confusion, doubt, restlessness, or even anxiety, like worry. So something else I'm picking up is a need for excitement. And that's why I was feeling pretty excited at the beginning, because I feel like some of you have maybe decided to move on, right? To free yourself of a responsibility that was becoming very suffocating. And through you doing that, you are now allowing yourself to explore other things, take on different projects. And that is what is exciting you, or reintroducing excitement into your life, especially into this area of life. But looking at these illustrations, I am seeing a scenario where someone might not be able to get enough sleep or restful sleep, or might not be able to focus because there is a lot of distractions. Maybe there's a lot of noise. Maybe there's a lot of dogs howling or animals making noise in the middle of the night. That's what is not allowing for someone to sleep through the whole night, or it's not allowing for someone to focus on their work, get work done. So if you've had trouble focusing at work, or if you've been feeling pretty frustrated with your work, consider if it is because you haven't been able to rest properly recently, or because there has been some kind of distraction. There's been a lot of noise. Someone has been needing of your attention a lot. And because of this, you might have felt or been feeling like you're being pulled in different directions. Yeah, because I feel like everybody, well, of course, everybody needs to sleep, right? But I feel like for you guys, restful sleep is super important. If your routines or your sleep gets interrupted, you might find it very difficult to focus or to connect with what you do. You might end up feeling very off balance. So it's very important for you to have a good night's sleep or restful sleep, or for you to have a moment of peace, a moment of tranquility, a time during the day, afternoon, or night to unwind, to relax. That is crucial for you guys. As well as to blow off some steam, okay? Because if you haven't been able to blow off some steam or unwind, relax, and you've been feeling very confused, or you've been experiencing mental fog, or you've been very on edge, then that is the reason why. And so things will definitely become a lot more clear to you, or you will be a lot more clear-headed after you've gotten proper rest. Yeah, because I do sense you are someone who is very assertive, or someone who is quite sure about what they want. Like most of the time that is the case. So when you made up your mind about something, like you've made up your mind. But I feel like right now there's something that is kind of causing you to go back and forth. And, if you find that to be the case and that's kind of out of the norm for you, it could be because either you haven't been getting proper sleep, right? And because of this lack of rest, you've been experiencing mental fatigue, which is causing this kind of inner turmoil or indecision, perhaps, or because this decision does require to make some kind of sacrifice, or does require for you to be a little bit stern, is how it's coming through. Maybe be a little bit cold. Maybe this does require for you to say no to someone they usually say yes to. And that's what's kind of like, in a way, pulling at your heartstrings and causing you to doubt your decision. Or if this decision is one that requires for you to trust in your instincts, gut feelings, or yourself, or it is one that requires for you to prioritize your happiness, well-being, and health over everything else, and this is something that you normally do not do, then this is why there might be some hesitation or back and forth. But I do feel like you're being let known or reassured that it's okay to go along with the decision that you have already decided upon from the very beginning. Right? Before this doubt creeped in, is how it's coming through. Before the voices started getting louder. So I wonder if you made some kind of decision in terms to this area of life, or something that could be affecting this area of life. And then once you made up your mind, people started coming in voicing their opinions about your decision. And it's their opinions, their suggestions that then started creating some kind of doubt or inner turmoil. And if that is the case, I feel like you're being advised to not allow for any guilt tripping to alter your decision, right? Or just be mindful of any kind of guilt tripping coming from others, and to once again trust in your inner knowing, trust in your discernment. Because you've got this. That's the message that is coming through. You've got this. But now I want to move on to your academics, studies, learning. I did talk about real estate. So some of you could be trying to get certified to be a real estate agent, right? And if it's not real estate, this could be about something else that you're trying to get licensed for, get certified for. Yeah, I'm seeing that you might find yourself struggling with it a bit. And it could be because of a lack of enthusiasm. It could be because midway you find that you no longer want to continue with this because it's not exactly what you had expected. Or it could be because of a lack of resources. But what I'm mostly seeing with the home card is that the environment might not be suitable. So I wonder if a lot of you are taking online courses, or if you are self-learning, self-studying, or if the only place in which you can study or get some studying done is at home, is in your living space. And if that is the case, your living space or environment at this moment could be a bit unfavorable. And this is making it very difficult for you to focus on your studies, get studying done, or this could also be a situation where you might be finding it difficult to find a space or place in which you can get some studying done, right? But the thing I want to point out is that the Five of Pentacles speaks about a temporary financial struggle or hardship. So if right now your maybe living situation or your environment isn't suitable for studying, learning, this is only temporary. The situation will change and it will improve, it will get better. There is hope here because that's what these birds to me represent, hope. And I feel like right now, universe might be helping you out in some kind of way to improve your chances is what came through. But what I wanted to say was to improve the situation, to improve the environment, or help you come into alignment with an environment that will be suitable for studying, right? Learning. But for some, if this is not about an environment, this could be about a lack of enthusiasm for learning. If, for example, right now you are in the process of obtaining a certification and you find that you don't want to continue, or that you want to look elsewhere, maybe look into another school, right, or another program, I feel like you're being advised to go with that feeling, or, look more into that, because the advice for you guys is to not force yourself to proceed with something that you have noticed is not for you, or is just not doing it for you. And if you're students, you're taking classes, this could just be about the classes. Like maybe the classes themselves are not very fulfilling, or they're not fulfilling certain requirements that you need to maybe graduate, or maybe they're not necessary. And if these classes are unfulfilling to you, or they're kind of like discouraging you from going to school or continuing your higher education or your studies, then you could be seriously considering dropping these classes, because first of all, they're not necessary for you to maybe graduate, or they're not needed for what it is that you want to get certified for. And second, you don't like them, you don't enjoy them. Instead of them adding something of value to your life or to your higher education, they're simply draining you, discouraging you. And so if that is the case, or your case is similar to these, you're being let known that it's okay if you decide to let go of this or consider dropping it. Because at the end of the day, they won't be adding anything of value. They will be taking instead. And they could be taking like your resources, like your money, if this is a class that you're paying for. Yeah, because I'm noticing that this house is empty. And so I feel like this is talking about a lack of fulfillment, like a lack of enthusiasm, right? So the word dangerous is coming to mind. So what they're saying is the dangerous aspect of it is you continuing with something that will end up discouraging you from a path that you are very passionate about. Going back to the student example, this could be something along the lines of one single class is the reason for why the student decides to drop a major or to not continue their higher education, because the class was so unfulfilling. Yeah, or because the teacher who was teaching the class was just a very bad teacher. So choosing to no longer attend school was not about like higher education in and of itself. It was solely because of that one class. Right? So there's something here about something in specific is draining you, or could be draining you, and you're being advised to not let that one thing ruin the whole experience for you, because it's going to be such a waste. That is how it's coming through if you did, right? If you let that one thing discourage you from pursuing a dream or from completing something that you are ultimately very passionate about or excited for. So if this resonates with you in any way, just take the time to consider if there is something in your life in specific that every time you connect with it or delve into it, you start feeling discouraged. You start feeling bored, apathetic, or even disconnected from yourself, right? Because that will be the very thing you're being advised to not let for it to influence your whole perspective or your entire experience. Be very mindful of that one thing or single thing. There's something here about like signaling it out and differentiating it or separating it from the rest. But if this is the case where resources are low, as mentioned before, I feel like this is only temporary. If you need to take a break from something because of a lack of resources, you're being let known that this temporary break is not an indicator that you won't go back to this, because I feel like you will at some point, which means that you will have the resources or the financial help and assistance that you need to proceed or complete your studies, let's say, or a class, a course, at some later point. You will. And maybe that's the thing some of you are returning to very soon. Maybe you are currently taking a break because you needed to. And you're being let know that very soon you will be coming back to this. You will be resuming your classes, going back to school. You will be finishing what it is that you started. That regardless of what your situation currently is, your environment plays a huge role in how inspired and motivated you are to study and to learn. So if you're someone who cannot focus in loud places, and the only place in which you can study, or the place you spend the most time in, is one that is very loud, chaotic, that is what is making it very difficult for you to stay focused on your study, or even feel inspired to study. Because the Five of Pentacles is making me think of lethargy, or someone being very distracted, or let's say person A knows that they need to study or get homework done, but they just don't feel like it. Right? Maybe they want to, but for whatever reason, they just don't feel like it. And if that resonates with you, if that is the case, I feel like it has something to do with your environment, with the space that you're in, or you spend the most time in. Like the space itself doesn't encourage curiosity for learning, for example, or it's not very suitable for studying, or it's not very motivating. If you are someone who spends a lot of time at home or in your dorm room, and you find it very difficult to study at home, maybe you need to go to a public space perhaps. Maybe you work better in loud, busy spaces. To get motivated, if you lack motivation to get some studying done or just learn something yourself, right? Even if you're not going to school right now, attending classes. Because I feel like for a lot of you, you might need to get out of your house, the place, the space that you sleep, that you unwind, to feel and be encouraged to study, or to feel that curiosity, that yearning, that longing for learning, right? Or for practicing a skill, perhaps. Yeah, because I feel like for you guys, it might be very important to have a space in which you sleep in, and it's only for sleeping, it's only for unwinding, and another space that is designated for studying, for learning. Because if you're trying to get motivated to study or to learn something new at home, then you might be finding it very difficult, because as soon as you get home, you're relaxing, right? You're unwinding. But this could also be a situation where maybe your home, the space that you do sleep in, that you come back to after work, after school, or whatnot, it's not very motivating. Yeah, this could also be about people that you live with. If you live with other people, maybe the people that you live with are not very energetic. They could have low energy. And so when you come home and they're low or maybe chill energy could have an impact on how you feel, on your mood. And so again, if that is the case, what will help is to go elsewhere, right? Spend more time somewhere else to get some studying done, or just to have that energy, that motivation, that enthusiasm for learning. But now when it comes to your routines, your habits, tendencies, we have the moon again. The moon showed up twice in your spread. We have it in the moon card and then in the wellness card. So some of you could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces sun, moon, or rising sign. And I'm picking up now on Cancer in specific because we have a home card, and the zodiac sign Cancer is associated with the 4th house, which is the house of the home and family. So I feel like for you guys, your space is really important. Having a space that you feel motivated by, inspired by, and that is safe, conducive for whatever it is that you're wanting to do, is super important. Because when it comes to your habits, I feel like you're still trying to figure out a schedule or routine that works for you, that empowers you. With the moon card, it seems like there's a lot of unknown still. And the 2 of Wands lets me know that you're still exploring, you're still experimenting, or this is what you're being advised to do, right? You're being advised to kind of explore and experiment with different routines, schedules, to find something that works for you. And most importantly, to find something that uplifts you and that empowers you. You feeling and being empowered is super important. If you're not feeling empowered, then I think it definitely affects your mood and your energy levels. This could also be about you feeling in management. For example, if you feel like you're not in management of your schedule, that could definitely have a great significant impact on how you feel and how inspired you are. I don't think this is about control, about needing control. It's more about feeling in management. Knowing that you can change your schedule, or knowing that you can work with your schedule perhaps, is what gives you peace of mind and what helps you feel empowered as well. Yeah, so based on all that has come through, I wonder if recently there has been something that has completely disrupted your schedule, your routine, your lifestyle, and that is what is having you feeling a bit off kilter, ungrounded perhaps, or uncertain. Yeah, and so maybe right now you're learning a lesson around how to manage in situations such as these, when something that is out of your control comes into the picture. How to establish order back into your life after a storm has come in and kind of turned everything upside down. Some of you could be learning a lesson around releasing control a little bit, not feeling completely at a loss when not being fully in control. Learning to work with the ups and downs of life. But the moon is reminding me of the different phases of the moon. So if you have been trying to come up with a schedule or a routine that is meant to be in a way permanent, and that hasn't really been working out for you, it is because you are meant to go more with the flow. At least that is what is coming through based on the cards, or based on what I'm picking up on. Your schedule, your routines, they are meant to be flexible, and they are meant to flow. They are meant to change with the seasons. They are meant to change with the different phases that you go through. And I feel like right now, it's very similar to group 1. Your schedule, your routine, possibly even your lifestyle could be changing a little bit, and there could be some resistance to these changes. You might be doing your hardest to stick to the old, right? But I feel like you're being encouraged to permit yourself the opportunity to explore something new. Because if something came into your life to disrupt what is familiar to you, I feel it's for a reason. I feel it's because possibly universe, or maybe yourself, your subconscious, knew that it was time to let go of certain habits or tendencies, that it was time to change things up, right? Because as you can see in the Two of Wands, we have this person holding a wand in one hand and the globe in the other. And the wand is all about inspiration and action, and the globe makes me think of opportunities, and it also makes me think of like expanding your views. And the magician is all about exploration, experimentation. The magician denotes creativity, creation, bringing forth opportunities. So it being in the reversal, I am sensing a little bit of resistance. And it could be this resistance that is making it a little bit difficult for you to, the expression that came to mind is fit in, or adjust to a new routine, a new schedule, or feel in management perhaps. Like feel empowered in your situation, in your circumstance. And what I just felt right now was someone waiting for things to go back to the way they were. So you are being given a heads up that something is temporary. I feel like something that has caused some kind of disruption in your day-to-day is temporary. It will pass, or uncertainty will pass. If that is what you are experiencing, things will level out, but either you can return to how things were, right, after things have leveled out, or you can kind of work with, let's say, the storm that you are experiencing right now, this upheaval, and transition into something new. Work your way, or allow yourself to flow, to be guided into something new, something more expensive is what I'm getting with the Two of Wands, right? Either things can return to how they've always been, or you can allow yourself to step into some kind of new beginning. And so if you decide to resist whatever is going on right now by not getting curious as to what this like upheaval is bringing you, the opportunities that it comes with, and you continue holding on to the old and simply wait out the storm, let's say, then not much will change. But if you decide to get curious and to start maybe shifting things around yourself in accordance with the changes that are happening naturally in your life, then you will find yourself gradually transitioning, or transcending is the word that came to mind, to a new energy, or growing out of an old lifestyle way of being, way of doing things, and into a new way of being, way of doing things. But it will be very much up to you, because I feel like universe is leaving it up to you. Although it might not feel like it, right? Because we do have the Magician in the reverse, because of how there are certain things in your life that will be out of your control. But at the end of the day, and ultimately, what you experience next will very much depend on you. Whether things remain the same or look different, be different, will depend on you. But I feel like a lot of you are being encouraged to play around a little bit, make adjustments, and give yourself an opportunity to possibly create new habits, right, that are maybe healthier, more empowering, to then start attracting new energies into your life. Because our habits, our tendencies, they do play a significant role in what we end up experiencing in our day-to-day and what we end up being exposed to, as well as the kind of doors of opportunities we come into alignment with. But let me now pull out some extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. So yeah, we have Hawk with clarity. A gifted messenger of the spirit world, Hawk encourages us to use our powers for focus. We are not always called to lead, but when the position is vacant, take it and act with clarity. With wind under wing and Hawk as our guide, flight is possible. With confidence, our goals are achievable. His presence aids us with higher perspective. Hawk inspires us to be less distracted by the details. He encourages us to focus on new heights, harness his altitude, and lead with vision by facing challenges with objectivity. Yeah, I feel like you're being advised to trust in the process right now and be open to change. Because if things feel a little unstable right now, it's because the energy is shifting. This shakeup is a gateway to change. It's like an opportunity for change. So things are shifting underneath the surface, and very soon it will come to light what these shifts were all about. But right now, I feel like some of you are being advised to get out of a routine because you've outgrown a routine, or your routine is not really allowing for you to welcome in new energies. It doesn't encourage you or inspire you to try new things. Anything else? We have Dolphin with Pure of Heart. And this is a dolphin. And the message: Dolphin is pure of heart, friendly, and protective of all creatures. She represents strong moral convictions, reminding us to speak our minds. Honest, sincere, and guileless. She is self-confident and trusts her instincts. In her positive disposition, we find harmony and balance. She encourages us to be curious, exploring, and enjoying life. A true friend to the end, her playful nature is a reminder to approach each occasion with delight. Yeah, so two things I mentioned. Trust her instincts and encourages us to be curious. Yeah, I feel like You're being encouraged to get curious about the changes, get curious about the chaos. Like, what is it here to offer you? Is it here to show you something about your habits, your tendencies, your lifestyle, your routines? And if you find yourself lacking curiosity, lacking enthusiasm, is it because something has become boring and repetitive? Is it because there is something you are constantly engaging with that is very unfulfilling to you, that blocks your imagination or doesn't allow for a lot of self-expression, or it doesn't really require for you to use your imagination, ingenuity? Are you surrounding yourself with people who are not very inspiring to you? Right? If that is the case, maybe consider surrounding yourself with people or being in environments where there are a lot of people that show the enthusiasm you feel like you're lacking in your life, or are very passionate, are very focused, driven. I remember that when I attended university, there were a lot of classmates or colleagues who chose to study in the library because seeing other people studying motivated them to study. If they were to stay in their dorm or in a secluded place and decided to study there, they would find it very difficult to study. They would get easily distracted or end up feeling sleepy. So knowing this, they decided to put themselves in environments where there were other people doing the very same thing that they intended to do, right? To maybe keep themselves accountable or keep themselves going. So consider surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, or people who show a lot of the qualities and traits, maybe tendencies that you aspire to build, to create in your life and in yourself. And the dolphin often reminds me of optimism. So I do feel like very soon things will start becoming the more clear to you. So if right now you're feeling like you are experiencing a storm, know that the sun will come out and the storm will cease. Things will level out, become more stable, and solutions will start popping up. Right? Some things might go back to how they were before, while other things will change for the positive. The month of February could be of significance. I'm getting winter time, as winter is turning into spring. But let's see. Hawks, dolphins, pigeons, doves, or bluebirds could be important animals or good omens, as well as lobsters and canines. Some of you could have been born in the year of the dog, and if so, this could be serving as a confirmation, but dogs or canines in general could be of significance. Okay, but these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. Thank you so very much. And I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye bye. Hello, if you were drawn to group 3, bienvenidos to your reading. The messages "we are hooked" and "look for an alternative" came to mind when meditating on the energy of this group. So if you are giving a presentation, submitting a work of yours, know that whoever is or will be listening to, seeing your presentation, reviewing your work, they will be satisfied with your work. And if you recently published, released a work of yours, like a novel or a story, maybe even a song, it could be a video, know that people are hooked, or there is a select few out there, a community who is eager for more, is anticipating your next release, your next piece of work, or the next installment in a series, if you're working on a series of sorts. So it seems like some of you guys are garnering quite a bit of a following, or very soon you will, maybe a fan base, or you are building a clientele. If not, it could be like a community. But I do see someone being invested or being willing to invest in a work of yours or an idea of yours. So if you are pitching a business idea, you will have someone reaching out to you, letting you know that they are interested in working with you, investing in your work, or developing this idea further with you. Okay, but let me move on to the cards. Oh, you may be at some point looking for an alternative or a second option as you are developing maybe an idea or a project, or you are developing your endeavor or your skills, your talents. So this could be like an alternative approach, platform, system, or medium is what is coming through. I do see there being a situation where you might need to look for an alternative at the last minute, right? Or what might feel like at the last minute. Because either someone canceled, or someone is no longer available, or something is no longer feasible. And I keep thinking of a third party. As an example, an event needs to be held, but the venue where the event had been planned to be held is no longer available for whatever reason. And so the event is still on, but now we need to look for a different venue to hold this event, right? Or this could be about a tool. A tool broke down, or it's no longer compatible, or it no longer works for a performance. I say performance because the example of a concert or like a performance came to mind. In this case, it could be a mic, a sound system, the lighting, something along those lines might need to be updated, right? So those are just examples. This could be pertaining to something else completely different, but I do see you needing to change things up a bit. And if that does end up being the case, it might seem like a lot at the moment, a lot to deal with if it's a last minute situation, but this sudden shift or change is coming through as a blessing, because it will help with bringing about modifications that will improve either the performance, the outcome, the entire system or entire picture is what is coming through. So at the end of the day, this will turn into a positive. It will turn into a blessing. So if it does seem like a negative in the moment, just know that it isn't. That's what they're trying to say. It isn't. This is meant to be a positive for you, because it's here to help improve things. It's here to bring about the improvements that are necessary, or that have been necessary for a while. This could even be the thing that will help you do the thing that you've been kind of putting on hold or postponing for a while. Yeah, so there's this feeling of universe or circumstance kind of forcing your hand in a way to do the thing that is needed or has been necessary for a while. And that is a good thing. Overall, this is a good thing. But, the first card I was meant to draw out is intended to give us information about your profession, career, line of work, and we have the Good Fortune card. Yes, so this card reminds me of luck, and it makes me think of divine intervention as well, right? The divine universe intervening to help you out, to clear any blockages, open paths for you. And so something is working out in your favor. Things are shifting, moving, so that the pieces of the puzzle will end up connecting in the way that they should to bring the bigger picture into view. But now I'm going to draw out a card to find out more about academia, education, studies, higher learning. And we have unfamiliar territory and duality. And now I'm going to draw out a card to get information about habits, routines, tendencies. Oh, okay, 2 cards. And they are humility and dreamer. And I'm going to pull out a clarifier for each card. So I'm going to first draw out a clarifier for the good fortune card. Oops. And we have the 9 of Pentacles. This is an amazing energy. And now I'm going to draw out a clarifier for both the unfamiliar territory and the duality card. And the card that flipped over is the Knight of Wands. And now a clarifier for the humility and dreamer card, please. Good shuffling. And we have Justice. Okay, so starting off for your career, profession, line of work, it seems like you guys are hitting the jackpot. Things are or will be faring pretty well for you. You're garnering positive attention or gaining popularity. If you are self-employed, you are a freelancer, a business owner, your business is or will be thriving very soon, and you yourself will be quite sought out. I keep thinking of the expression lucky streak. So you will be experiencing a series of fortunate events when it comes to this area of life. And there is something here about popularity, being sought out or being seen, being received well. I noticed that the pattern on the dress that this person is wearing in the 9 of Pentacles are grapes or grapevine. And that reminds me of the expression through the grapevine. So it seems like good news is spreading about you. You're garnering or gaining a very good reputation, right? If you offer services, the people who you have provided a service to are recommending you to others. People are speaking highly of you. And people are hearing word of you, your services, your company, your business, of your capabilities, skills, talents, and they're seeking you out. They're wanting to know more about you. They are wanting to see for themselves what the fuss is all about. This energy here reminds me of a rising star. The model or the actress or actor that starts getting a lot of gigs and offered contracts because they are on the rise. They are the most sought out, the most wanted. So that is how you are coming through. And so you are gaining a lot of opportunities, or very soon you will. But again, this feels like recognition, popularity, exposure, you gaining more customers, more clients. And if you work a corporate job, things at work are going very, very well, right? If you're working on a project, or soon you will be playing a very significant role in the development and completion of this project. And it will be a success. this very project or your role in a project or an endeavor will have you standing out. And if you are currently looking for job opportunities, it seems like there will be a lot of openings in the job market. If you have been applying, interviewing, and you haven't received a call back yet, or you haven't heard from the places you have applied to, you will be hearing from them very, very soon, even if it has been months since you applied or reached out to a company, let's say. You will be hearing back from them and hearing back from a lot of places. And I do see you feeling very, very lucky for having found a job that is almost perfect for you or for what it is that you are looking for at this moment in your life. So in conclusion, you will be finding a job. You will be getting pretty lucky in terms to that. And the Nine of Pentacles promises a really good salary with benefits, or it promises a raise in income and profit. Because the Nine of Pentacles indicates financial independence, or it can indicate that. And the Nine of Pentacles also represents a thriving energy, someone who is doing very, very well and who is feeling successful. So I do see you feeling and being very proud of yourself for what you have accomplished in terms to this area of life, or feeling quite fulfilled, feeling very blessed for what it is that you are experiencing or have experienced so far, or what it is that you are developing. You could also be working on multiple projects very soon, or if you have been working on one or more projects, things are going very, very well. I just heard in my mind, you're getting hired. If you are looking to book gigs, you are or you soon will be booking a lot of gigs, or a lot of people are wanting to book an appointment with you. The grapes make me think of abundance, riches. So even in the money department, things are or will be faring pretty well for you soon. You could be experiencing a windfall, right? And I do see this being the case because it's like suddenly you're getting a lot of job offers or job opportunities. You're booking a lot of gigs. A lot of customers and clients are coming to you. Your work is being sought out. And it seems like your job or your work is paying well. So all this popularity will be resulting in an influx of money or an increase in profit. Yeah, so really enjoy this moment and milk it, because this feels like an opportunity. It feels like an opening, even like a window of time where you could reap a lot, plant a lot of seeds for the future. You could create something sustainable is what is coming through, right? So you're being advised and recommended to make the most of this and invest. Think about investing, and that could mean many different things, right? This could be about financially investing, but this could also be about investing yourself in projects, investing in a skill, investing in a talent. This would also be the perfect opportunity to network, to collaborate if those opportunities present themselves to you, which I feel they will. And this would also be an amazing time to learn a lot, right? To learn from a business, an industry, or learn from those who you are working with. Learn through experience, first-hand experience. But I do see a lot of people requesting for you, wanting to see more of you, wanting to work with you, wanting to receive of your services, or wanting to see more of your work. I see people speaking highly of you, recommending you, maybe even being quite inspired by you, your work, or seeing you as a role model. Or maybe your work model, your creative model, will end up being the point of reference for a lot of newcomers. So a lot of people might end up aspiring to do what you do, or to have your same work ethic, or maybe even to be as cool as you. I don't know why that came through, but I do get this feeling of a lot of people, or a select few, really looking up to you. And If there are people who you end up collaborating with, those who you end up collaborating with will feel very fortunate and lucky of having been able to work with you or work beside you, alongside you. And I also do see this being the case where you are going to end up working with someone who you will feel very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with them. It's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I get to work with this person who I look up to or who I dreamed of one day collaborating with, or I can't believe I get the opportunity to perform at this venue or to be sponsored by this brand or be recommended by someone, by this very well-known figure. Yeah, because something else I'm seeing is someone giving you a shout out. Actually more than one person, and one of these individuals who is giving you a shout out will be either a muse of yours or a role model of yours, or who is well esteemed in their own respective field. Yeah, so things are faring very, very well for you. You're getting deals. This is also what is coming through, like maybe for brand deals or for like big projects. Some of you are signing contracts. You are making good money, you are earning more money, and maybe through an increase in salary, if that applies. You are getting a return of your investments, and some of you are winning or finding money. If you are entering a raffle, you will be one of the winners. But yeah, things are looking up for you. Or if things have been looking up for you recently, things will continue to look up for you, continue to go and fare well for you in this area of life. So yay! The color purple and green could be of significance, by the way. The color purple reminds me of riches, royalty. So you may be treated as royalty. You could be hearing the words queen or king a lot. But you're also coming through as a leader, as mentioned before, as a role model, someone who is quite respectable, or you're being let know that you could become someone very respectable in your line of work, in your field of work or career, or in an industry. Some of you could be developing a brand or a name for yourself. You could end up having a trademark or a signature style. Or maybe you are developing that, or you have thought of developing that. And if so, go with that idea. Because what I'm also seeing is you will have ideas for like changes, adjustments, or new projects. And you're being advised to run along with those ideas or just explore them more, because these are avenues, they are gateways that will be opening more doors of opportunity for you, or will be helping with you expand in this area of life in ways that right now you might not even be able to comprehend or fathom. So what might seem like something small and inconsequential will turn out to be the seed that will give fruit to a beautiful, abundant tree in the near future. So if you feel inspired in the moment, run along with that inspiration. Allow yourself to create, allow yourself to get curious. Channel whatever energy that you're being infused in into your work, into your creations, or into exploring your own talents and tapping into your own potential. Because I do also see you exploring new avenues. Like one thing will lead you to another, or you will realize very soon that the path that you are on branches out, or it has many different branches. This could be about like a career that has many different branches. And so you can take this in many different directions, and you will end up taking something in many different directions, because I do see you having more than one source of income. Maybe not right now or in the near future, but definitely at some point in your journey. And some of these sources of income will be passive, or they can turn into passive income. And I just heard it doesn't always have to be difficult. It can be easy. It can be easy at times. So you can make money without needing to burn yourself out or work yourself to the bone, is the message that is coming through, or the confirmation, the reassurance for you guys that is possible. Yeah, I wonder if some of you have recently ended your Saturn return, because this feels like the blessings after a tough cycle. You reaching the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So this also to me feels like a breakthrough. So if you've been waiting to experience a breakthrough, or if you've been wondering whether you ever will, know that you will. And that is for sure with these two cards. But now I'm going to move on to learning, education. This could even be pertaining to your curiosity, what you can expand upon in terms to your knowledge, maybe even skills. And we have unfamiliar territory with duality, and to clarify is the Knight of Wands. So unfamiliar territories making me think of exploration, getting out of your comfort zone to try new things, explore new avenues, right? So as mentioned previously, I feel like very soon you will be given the opportunity to learn something new, right? Or take something that you are already familiar with in a new direction. Maybe expand upon it a little bit more. Go deeper with it is also what is coming through. With duality here, it's making me think of merging two things. So you could end up mixing two genres, mixing two career fields, maybe two majors. For those of you who are students, you could end up double majoring, double minoring. Maybe that is something very new. Maybe you'll be the first in your family to double major or have two different careers, two different professions, two degrees, something along those lines. But the Knight of Wands is very passionate, very driven, and adventurous. So the message or the advice for you is to be adventurous by being curious, getting curious, right? Not always sticking to what is familiar, what you know, what you have already done, or what has already been done in the past, but instead cross those frontiers and explore new lands, new departments. Maybe even create something of your own. Be innovative, ingenuitive, right? So if you've been wondering whether that's okay, whether that's a good idea, this is your confirmation and your reassurance that yes, it is okay and that it is a really good idea to get a little inventive, experimental, creative. And you are being reassured if you have been wondering that it's okay to mix two things or to do some kind of collaboration. Even if these two things you're planning to mix, to merge, or to bring together are very different from each other, right? Because in the unfamiliar territory, we have this fish out of the water, right? In the air, in an element that is not home to the fish. So all of a sudden this made me think of languages. You could be feeling inspired at some point to learn a new language. Duality is making me think of being bilingual, right? And the Knight of Wands can often, I think it's the Knight of Wands, can often indicate a foreigner. So maybe some of you are very soon planning to learn a new language or more languages, and you're being let know that is a good idea because this could open doors of opportunity for you, or that it will. Yeah, so maybe learning a new language will make it easier for you to collaborate with people who are of a different cultural background than you, or will open doors of opportunity for you in another country, or it will make it easier for you to transition to a foreign country that you are planning to move to, because that's something else that I'm seeing. You moving to another country or getting an opportunity to maybe study abroad, or to work abroad, or to travel abroad for a gig, for a collaboration, or for some kind of work opportunity. Right? And so if that resonates with you, if that ends up being the case, it seems like you will learn a lot during your trip or through your travels. Because I do see you being exposed to maybe new techniques or to new different teachings that will end up inspiring you or influencing you in some kind of way. It could be influencing your personality, you as a person, or it could end up influencing your work. I just heard going back to school. So some of you might end up going back to school. And this might be a surprise for a lot of you, because it seems like for those of you who this will apply, you're not really thinking about going back to school. It's like it hasn't even crossed your mind, or Right now that I said that, you might have completely ignored that message and thought that's not for me. Like, I'm not going back to school, or I'm not about to take any kind of classes or enroll in any courses or be part of any kind of student study program. Like, nah. But then that's exactly what ends up happening. Yeah, because there's something about the Knight of Wands that makes me feel that you don't see it coming. Right now, it's not in your plans. You don't see it in your cards. But as things unfold, as you keep moving forward, plans change, or your plans change. It really feels like things are shifting for you right now. I keep thinking of gateways, and more doors open up for you, or new avenues. The more you start getting curious, the more you start adventuring, getting out of your comfort zone. The more you do that, the more your storyline changes or becomes a little bit more intricate. The plot becomes a little bit more interesting is what is coming through. So I think the advice for you is to allow yourself to be a little bit more flexible with your plans. It's okay if you have goals, but don't get too set on certain outcomes or on things being or turning out a certain way, because there is a lot more out there, and you're kind of being advised to allow for more surprises in your life, because it seems like a lot of good surprises are in store for you. And I do see you working with spending a lot of time interacting, maybe living or entering into a partnership with maybe a foreigner or someone who is of a different ethnicity, has a different cultural background, maybe speaks a completely different language, or has a completely different style from yours. Yeah, and if you do, know that you will end up learning a lot from this individual. You will be teaching each other a lot. I also see you coming out of your shell with this person. It could even be through a trip or after you travel. What I heard right now is you're gaining your wings, or you're developing your wings. Your wings could be representing your independence, your confidence, self-esteem, maybe your style, your personal style, your voice, or your identity perhaps. But now moving on to the word traditions came to mind, but what I was about to say is your habits, routines, tendencies. And we have humility, dreamer, and to clarify is the Justice card. The Justice card is associated with the zodiac sign Libra, by the way. So Libra season or the zodiac sign Libra could be of significance. I'm also seeing Virgo, by the way, and Gemini. But it seems like balance, fairness, and integrity will be pivotal when it comes to your habits, your routines, your tendencies. Maybe some of you have the habit of being harsh on yourself or being unfair with yourself. If it is the case that you tend to blame yourself for things that are out of your control, that is something you're being advised to look into. Because why is it that you do that when it is unfair? So I see this being about you treating yourself fairly. And in you treating yourself fairly, that is leading you to create habits and or tendencies that are healthier and sustainable, because they can be held accountable. That's what I heard in my mind. Interesting. A tendency that can be held accountable. So maybe this is about logic. For example, if person A has the tendency of blaming themselves for something that is out of their control, is that logical? Is that fair? If it's not, then we can discern that this tendency is unreliable, that it cannot be fully trusted, or it cannot be used as a tool of discernment, perhaps. Maybe some of you are practicing implementing a little bit more logic into your habits, into your tendencies, to better discern what needs to stay, what needs to go. Like being overly critical of oneself, overly judgmental. Is it fair? And is it helpful? If it's not, why continue doing it? Why continue upholding this practice? The Dreamer card is making me think of maladaptive daydreaming. And it's also making me think of the imagination, how the mind can just create whole scenarios. Yeah, if you are someone who is very imaginative, or your mind can easily come up with scenarios of what may happen, even if there isn't a lot of evidence that could justify the scenarios your brain is coming up with, yeah, it seems like you are using your discernment a lot more now. Which means, yes, you're still daydreaming. You're still allowing for your brain to do its thing, to imagine and be creative. But instead of just going along with whatever your brain comes up with, you're taking a moment to pause and utilize your discernment. Like, okay, brain, I let you wander for a bit, and now you've given me a 50-page script of what is going to happen in the future, or you played a whole movie for me, but I have to stop you right here. Press pause, because I'm getting really invested in what you're showing me. I'm starting to believe it. And this is ungrounding me. So now what I need to do is whip up my sword of discernment and my skills of judgment to discern and judge whether I need to get myself out of this fake scenario, come back to center, get grounded. Right? I need to remind myself that this is just maybe an illusion. This is a fantasy. This is a fake scenario that my mind has just come up with. It's not the actuality, it's not the truth. Right? It might not even be a possibility or a plausibility, or that's something you can use your discernment and judgment for, like what is plausible, what is not. Or is it really helpful? Is it a good investment of my time to even start considering if this is possible or not? Do I really want to go there? Or is that just going to drag me into a deeper hole that I really don't want to get myself into, because then it's going to take me a little longer to get out of it. So might as well just stay clear of that, not engage with that, not get into that. You know, this could also be about you engaging with your fantasies in a more constructive way, where you're acknowledging that this is a fantasy, right? That it's a dream, maybe that it's a daydream, but also considering, what of this daydream am I excited about? What of this daydream would I actually like to experience in real life? And what does this daydream tell me about my desires, or about what I want to create? And, you know, gain information through working with your imagination, and also get more in touch with reality by discerning what is imagination versus what is factual information. You know, what is maybe a reality versus what is a fear acting out a fake scenario in your mind. So I'm seeing a lot more groundedness here, like logic playing a more significant role in your day-to-day and how you approach certain tendencies, right? Like the tendency to daydream, to fantasize, to come up with fake scenarios, to think of possibilities of what may happen. And it could also be in regards to how you tend to treat yourself, how you tend to judge yourself or criticize yourself. This could also be about how you work with your emotions, right? Learning that you can feel through your emotions while also being very aware of what they're bringing to the table. You know, I can feel sad, allow myself to cry without denouncing happiness. And so I'm sensing a lot more peace here. Discernment, as mentioned before, and clarity. A lot more level-headedness is also what is coming through, and a stronger connection between the heart and the mind, or logic and your emotions. And I also see integrity playing a more significant role in your life, in the way in which you approach things, live your life, and in how you create your habits, like what kind of tendencies you encourage. Justice also makes me think of karma. So a lot of you could be trying or wanting to clear your karma is what came through. There's this feeling for some of starting anew. So you could be wanting to start with a clean slate, or if you know you're starting with a clean slate, you might be doing your best to keep your slate as clean and pristine as possible, which, I mean, that's great. But if this resonates with you, remember, trying to keep a white dress 100% clean and pristine in an environment that is exposed to all sorts of elements might prove to be almost impossible, right? So yes, keep to your morals, to your values, maintain your integrity, but be careful with expecting perfection of yourself or expecting yourself to be this ideal, perfect version of a person at all times. Because that could end up being too much, and that could end up with you trying to meet an unrealistic expectation, right? Because the world isn't exactly black and white, and there's a lot of things in life that you will come to learn after you have went through some trial and error. So just keep in mind that although we are souls living a human experience, we incarnated into this world to live a human experience. So allow yourself to be human. That doesn't mean go all crazy and do a bunch of shenanigans for the sake of just doing them. No, but it's okay if you find out that you're still learning and you're still growing and developing your senses and fine-tuning your moral compass. Doing the best that you can with what you have, with what you know, is already a really, really good start and says a lot of good things about you. And so I feel like these cards are talking about a little bit more consideration, being more considerate of yourself, of the fact that you are human, that you are learning, that you are growing, and finding a little bit more balance in your life through maybe applying logic here and there, a little bit of reasoning. And I'm also seeing you being or feeling a lot more grounded through taking time to discern, maybe feel through your emotions, but also remind yourself that you can come back to yourself, or you can come back to a center, to a baseline is what is coming through. Yeah, some of you are finding out that emotions are like waves, right? So when you're feeling an emotion, you're riding a wave, right? You're not sinking into an ocean of that emotion. That right? It's more like you're riding a wave, and so this wave will pass. But now I'm going to pull out some oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. And we have the badger with manifestation and the message of all the fauna. Badger is one of the most misunderstood creatures. While believed to be fiercely protective of his abode, badger is actually a very docile, curious animal. Frequently found with his nose to the ground, badger is adept at thriving in many environments. With focused intent, he encourages us to dig in and do our work. He teaches us about showing up and conscious participation. Badger is a tenacious tutor, a purveyor of manifestation, and a master of making life happen. Yeah, so the sentence, he teaches us about showing up in conscious participation. I believe that's what it's meant to say. Reminded me of the last set of cards, the humility, dreamer, and justice card. Because I feel like you guys are becoming more conscious, more aware of your tendencies, of your habits, by actively participating with them, by questioning them at times, by allowing yourself to discern, wait, is this helpful? Is it not? Am I indulging this a little bit too much? Can I detach from this? Can I stop myself from engaging with this further if it's not helping me? It seems like I can, so I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start actively disengaging, right? And that's how maybe you are also reclaiming your power, your sovereignty. You're gaining more management over your tendencies. All right, and that could be how you're also creating new habits. Yeah, but I see a lot more awareness here. And the word manifestation made me think of the good fortune card and the Nine of Pentacles. So it seems like because you are more conscious of your habits, your tendencies, you're also more conscious of your role in things and how you can actively participate in certain areas of your life to create better changes. You're becoming more conscious of your own power, your strength, your abilities, your talents. Your capacity is also what is coming through, and that is allowing for you to attract more easily or just claim your blessings, claim your rewards, or to better see opportunities that are being presented to you, or to have maybe the audacity, if not the courage, to take opportunities that are presented to you without doubting or second guessing yourself too much, or doubting or second guessing the opportunities themselves. Right? So if in the past you said no to certain opportunities, not because they were bad or they were sketchy, but because you were afraid to take them on for a fear of tapping into your potential, right? A fear of trying something new, stepping into unfamiliar territory, or being a beginner at something, or not doing well, experiencing disappointment or disappointing. It seems like now, if any of that was resonated with you, there is an awareness of that fear, of that hesitation. But instead of allowing for it to block you or hold you back, you're allowing for it to propel you forward. Like, hey, look, these are all the things that I am intimidated by. These are my insecurities. I'm laying them bare. I'm embracing them. I'm owning up to them, and I'm still moving forward, right? I'm still trying out that new thing because, although it scares me, at the same time, it excites me. And so I do want to try this out. So let's go try it out with shaky knees, but let's do it. Let's find out. Let's explore. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. But this manifestation energy is also letting me know that you are manifesting, or a lot of which you have been manifesting, or you have called in, set intentions for, they're going to start coming in. Maybe they already have. If not, very soon they're going to start coming in. They're going to start trickling in. I was trying to get like a time frame, but all that I'm getting is autumn season, fall season. I'm also getting the month of January. The Knight of Pentacles often reminds me of the month of September. I'm also getting August. I'm sorry, I'm getting like different months here, but what I'm mostly picking up on is fall season, or maybe the beginnings of spring when winter is transitioning into spring. Like it's still kind of chilly, but we start seeing signs of early spring. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. Like a chilly or cool weather is also what is coming through. When the weather starts cooling down or feeling a little bit more chilly. And when you start seeing a lot of mute tones and colors, or earthy tones, like greens, like a muted green, plum colors. But let me pull out another oracle card. Oh, okay. So these two cards fell out together and this one flipped over. So I'm going to take them all. And we have Octopus with Reveal. Spending nearly every moment in confinement, Octopus demonstrates the impressive impact of revelation. He is often found curled up in his cave, plagued by self-preservation and frozen by fear. When necessity requires trips outside, he travels in trepidation. Arriving in a moment of uncertainty, Octopus explodes with intensity. In his example, we are reminded that revealing oneself requires bravery. In exposure, we are defenseless. We must lend ourselves grace when we are vulnerable. Wow, so yeah, I was talking about exposure, popularity, someone rising like the star, maybe rising like the phoenix, maybe rising to fame for some, maybe some level of fame or popularity. Yeah, and the Reveal card kind of confirms that. So if you are someone who is used to being in the shadows, being hidden, being overlooked, your time to shine is coming. And it's not like you don't shine. You shine all the time, but it seems like now people are noticing your shine, or you're shining in a way that is more visible, right? So you're gaining visibility is what I'm seeing. And Reveals also making me think of your talents, your skills being revealed to you, or you revealing your talents, your skills, your knowledge, your wisdom, your charisma to others. It's coming through. I'm thinking of like a hermit crab that is coming out of their shell, slowly creeping out of their shell. And so if you are someone who's very shy, or who, again, you tend to kind of retreat most of the time, or you're not used to being seen, you're maybe fearful of the spotlight. If you find yourself taking your time to come out of your shell, right? To come out of your comfort zone, if you find yourself taking the time to adjust to being in the spotlight, being seen, being praised, receiving compliments, that's fine. The octopus here came through to reassure you that it's okay to move at your pace and find yourself looking for the courage to do something that you're afraid of. There's no shame in that. That's something to be proud of, right? Because as the octopus says, revealing oneself requires bravery. It's not an easy task, right? To expose ourselves, to be vulnerable in that way. And so you doing that, or you gaining the courage to do that, or even allowing yourself to find the courage to do something that you are afraid of, whether it be being in the spotlight or something completely different, that's something already to applaud yourself for, because that's hero behavior right there. So reveals also making me think of you seeing yourself in a new light, in a light that is empowering. But we also have the pelican with optimism, and amenable inhabitant of ephemeral islands. Pelican enjoys a life of transience. Inspired by possibilities, he averts traditional norms. Unmistakably unique in form, he plunges headlong into each experience, harvesting gusto from each wave of opportunity. Unattached to expectations and averse to unnecessary burden, he is guided by his persistent optimism. Pelican encourages us to enthusiastically forge through life, resting momentarily only to embrace it in earnest once again. Yeah, so there's a lot of things here that stood out to me that served as confirmation. The first one is inspired by possibilities, he averts traditional norms. Yeah, so as mentioned before, it seems like you're being encouraged to, or you're being let know that it's okay to do something non-traditional. Get a little innovative. Mix things up, right? Literally mix two things, merge two different things or several things. So this confirms to me that you are taking some kind of non-conventional approach. You are getting inquisitive, explorative, and experimental, and that's a good thing, right? So work with your imagination, work with your curiosity as well. Also, he plunges headlong into each experience, harvesting gusto from each wave of opportunity, because that's what I was getting when I mentioned a streak of luck. You're experiencing a lot of waves of opportunity, right? And you're being advised to ride each wave and make the most of it. And then Pelican encourages us to enthusiastically forge through life, right? That's what I was getting from the Knight of Wands. Enthusiasm, excitement, and exploration. So this is a time, or very soon, this will be a time of exploration, of adventuring. Yeah, I feel like you guys are embracing life, embracing your talents, your skills, embracing your fears, embracing your worries, kind of accepting them so that then you can work with them and maybe work through them, maybe even use them as a strength, use them as a tool, as information possibly, to help you grow or to help you overcome challenges. But lastly, we have polar bear with camouflage. In the presence of polar bear, we are reminded that blending in can be as useful and courageous as standing out. Like his winter in deep silent contemplation, we are able to achieve new insight. By standing back and observing, we are able to ready ourselves to share our most powerful gifts. With polar bear's tact, we learn to cloak ourselves in shadow, waiting for the right moment to emerge. He imparts patience, teaching us to employ strategy to carry on. Yeah, so that's what I was getting with Justice card. It's like you're using your discernment, you're learning how to pause, you're learning how to pull back, when to pull back in order to observe, discern, and maybe even be selective. And that is serving you. And you're also learning how to balance action with pause. It's okay to pause at times. You don't always have to be on the go, 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 right? And I feel like some of you might have been on some kind of pause for a while. Things might have been going pretty slow for you, or, you could have been experiencing a moment in your life where you were taking it pretty easy, or you weren't feeling called to take any drastic action. And if so, it is because that was a time of observation. So let's say if things were going or moving pretty slow for you, or that's how it felt like to you, not much was happening. There was not a lot of action. Things weren't manifesting at the snap of a finger, let's say. It could be because you were in a period of observation. You were learning, you were taking in information. You were collecting data. And now that you have collected all the information, all the data that is necessary or that you need, now you're taking action. Right now, things are happening. Things are happening in your life in a way where you're being called to take action. You're feeling inspired to take action. So it almost feels like everything had a purpose. It had a reason, or you're now understanding that it did have a purpose, right? A moment of pause wasn't stagnancy. It was just a slowing down for observation. Because soon, very soon, there would be a moment of action, of applying the information, putting into practice what it is that you have learned. Yeah, and you guys are getting quite good at strategizing, of coming up with plans, or just maybe learning that not every situation requires of your immediate reaction or action. That it's okay for you to think, analyze before you do, before you take some kind of action, before you decide upon something. But looking at the illustration in the polar bear, it seems like this polar bear is frozen in time, but I feel like now the ice is starting to thaw and melt. And the polar bear is slowly, they're starting to regain focus and mobility. And so very soon they're going to start moving. Okay, but these are all the messages coming through for you guys. Things I want to point out. The zodiac signs: Virgo, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and Cancer is what came through. The badger, octopus, pelican, bear, sheep, and fish could be of significance. It could be a spirit animal or power animal of yours, or just good omens. A 4-leaf clover could also be a good omen. I'm also seeing grapes, like a grapevine. If you stumble upon like a grapevine motif, that could be a good omen, like a sign of good luck, or that you're about to experience good luck. Also, the color purple could be quite lucky for you, or could just bring in good energy into a space or into your own energy field. The color purple reminds me of the crown chakra. And I also did mention the color green, which is often associated with the heart chakra. So these two energy centers could be of significance. They could be pretty active when you are experiencing this good luck, these blessings, this new way of interacting with yourself. Yeah, I see a heart chakra activation going on, or heart chakra cleansing. And I do see you interacting with people, more people, new people, and definitely people that are quite different from you. Maybe look very different on the surface, or as mentioned before, they come from a different country, have a different language, a different upbringing, etc. I just heard growth spurts. Yeah, so some of you could be going through a growth spurt. If it's not a growth spurt, it could be like a glow up, right? A physical glow up. But I think this growth spurt is pertaining to your career, your popularity, or also like your confidence, your self-assuredness. Okay, but these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you are new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. Thank you so very much. But this is all for now. I am wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye bye.